Russo Brothers have a new Netflix movie coming out with Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt called The Electric State, which is an adaptation of a book that is really popular. Now, I, for one, am very excited for this movie. I love the Russo brothers. I love Millie Bobby Brown. I love Chris Pratt. I think that they're all great. I have not read the source material, but in watching the trailer, it looks like a fun, early Amblin Entertainment movie. And what I mean by Amblin Entertainment, for anyone that doesn't know, that's the studio that's made things like Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, The Goonies. They make like these big, epic, swashbuckling adventures, which is my favorite genre of movie. Anytime a group of people has to go on an adventure to stop a threat or uncover a secret or something like that. I love tomb raiding, pirate ships, going on an island battling dinosaurs, anything that's just larger than life. So when I saw the trailer for this and it has Star-Lord in it, and 11 from Stranger Things, and is being directed by the same people that did Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, Captain America Civil War, Captain America Winter Soldier. I like The Gray Man, so that's just another notch in the hat for me. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but I really do enjoy it a lot, actually. I watched the trailer for this, and I was really excited to watch it. Now, a couple days ago, the early reviews came out for this movie, and it is not looking good. This movie has an abysmal Rotten Tomatoes score, and for most people, they look at this. I know a buddy of mine looked at this and was like, oh, you know, the Russo brothers suck. They can't do anything outside of Avengers. I don't let Rotten Tomatoes sway my opinion. Not for nothing, but a lot of people don't even know how Rotten Tomatoes works. Everyone thinks that Rotten Tomatoes, like if you go on there and you see that a movie has like a 40%, people think that like on average, people are giving this movie a 4 out of 10. No, that means if it's 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, that means that out of 100 people, 40 people liked it and 60 people did not. I've seen movies that had like a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes that I didn't love, but I didn't hate the movie, so I would have fallen into that 8% or 9% region of reviewers. And I don't like to let reviews sway me because there are a lot of movies that I've watched that I wouldn't have if I relied on the tomato score on Rotten Tomatoes. So I like to go into movies and make my own opinions and not let others sway me. I am the movie optimist. I find the silver linings in even the worst of films. So even if a story is bad, I can still look at a film and go, but the action was great and the comedy worked. Or maybe the story is great, but the action's terrible, and I can still appreciate it on a storytelling level. Or if the movie's just so bad all around, maybe I'll at least like the color grading in it, or the pacing of the editing, or the soundtrack. They brought in a cool 80s retro soundtrack. I go into movies, no matter how bad they are, always looking for the silver lining. What is here that I could take away enjoying, that I could talk to all of you about? And really the point I'm trying to make here is like, yeah, it has a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm still really excited to see this movie. I mean, the Russo brothers only ever make movies that seem like they want to entertain us, and I have to give them the benefit of the doubt. They made arguably one of the greatest science fiction superhero movies of all time, so I'm always going to show up to support them. Sometimes they're going to swing and they're going to miss, but I'll always be there to support them. Now, there's an entirely different topic that I want to touch on quickly here regarding the Russo brothers, and that is that it is now factually true that outside of the MCU, the Russo brothers have not made anything that is considered like a renowned success critically or financially. I mean, at least in terms of the Rotten Tomato meter, because outside of the Avengers movies, all of their movies are negative. They have a green tomato on Rotten Tomatoes, and a lot of people are kind of starting to wonder if the Russo brothers aren't actually that great of filmmakers. Because before Avengers, they did things like You, Me, and Dupree, which not a lot of people liked, and then after that, they did a movie with Tom Holland called Cherry, which not a lot of people liked. They did a movie called 21 Bridges with Chadwick Boseman that not a lot of people liked. They did The Gray Man that not a lot of people liked. They have the Extraction movies that they produced, but they didn't really direct that, so I won't count that. And a lot of people are confused and think that they have a lot to do with Everything Everywhere All at Once. They're producers on that film, but they don't really have a lot to do with it, so I'm not really going to count that. And there might be like 1 or 2 more movies that they came out with that I'm not remembering, but I could easily say they weren't received well. So that raises the question, are the Russo brothers good directors, or are they only good when working under the tight restraints of Kevin Feige? And as much as I'm excited for The Electric State, I have to say that, yeah, it seems like the Russo brothers are not good when they're in charge of creating the story. They're just good at taking a story that somebody else has and bringing it to life. And that's not to say that they're bad all around. Like, even in the movies that aren't that good, because of a story standpoint or a pacing standpoint, you always like the characters you're watching. They're always charismatic and they have good relationships with the other people in the movies. Like, the Russo brothers know how to make you care about characters and they know how to do good character development. It just doesn't seem like they know how to bring an entire ensemble together and tell one coherent, really crowd-pleasing story without Kevin Feige behind him like, don't do that, do this instead. And I think it's really smart that they're going back to Marvel to kind of get out of that negative limelight of these people aren't that good unless they're working in a Marvel project. I think that once Doomsday and Secret Wars comes out, if those movies are really successful, then the Russo brothers will have a chance to go back out and try and go on their own again. But I really think they need to take what they learned from their critical failures of the movies they've made and apply that moving forward after Avengers and try and figure out what they're doing wrong and fix it, because after Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars, they're only going to have that one last shot to go out and impress the world with something outside of Marvel. And if they fail, I'm not saying the Russo brothers are never going to make a movie again, but the chances of them getting the budget from a studio to make something like an Electric State is going to diminish greatly, and they're going to be stuck making more things like You, Me, and Dupree. So again, I am excited for the Electric State. Maybe I'll be in that small minority of people that just really enjoys it, and that'll be what it is. I'm also excited to see their Avengers movies. I see a lot of people online saying like, oh, those movies are gonna suck. The Russo brothers, they lost it. They haven't made a good movie in years. And again, guys, you have to understand, something happens when the Russo brothers go into Marvel, they go into Disney, and like just magic comes alive around them. I've said this in one of my other reviews. I'm sure at Marvel headquarters there's a plaque somewhere that just has a picture of the Russo brothers and it says world's best employees, because they made the best MCU movies. And I have no doubt they're gonna step back in, team up with Kevin Feige again, team up with the writer of Avengers Endgame, and make something really special in Doomsday and Secret Wars. I don't think anyone has any cause to believe they're gonna give a shit, because they've already done this. This is their wheelhouse. They are comfortable here. They know what works and what doesn't. They know what us, the people, want, and they're gonna deliver. I have absolutely no doubt. Now, would I put $100 on it? No, but I don't make that much money at my job. But I would put $20 on it, that it's a safe bet to go to sleep tonight knowing that the Avengers are in good hands. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm sure they're gonna give us something epic, heartfelt, emotional, and just an overall good time. And for those of you disappointed about the reviews for the Electric State, I implore you, don't look at Rotten Tomatoes. Make your own opinions, because you never know, you might surprise yourself and find yourself in the minority, in the lower margin of people that actually enjoyed the movie. Just because 90% of the world didn't like it, maybe you will, and that should be enough. Because all art is subjective and we're not all gonna like the same things.